Hello, viewers. Welcome to our channel Basics on Law Injury. First, I would like to say Happy New Year to all of you. Very, very Happy New Year. Hope all of you are safe and healthy. So, today we will discuss about divorce law. Let's take some idea on divorce law, the which is the legal termination of a marriage by a court. There are two types of divorce: fault, no fault. Here we should take a note: divorce or dissolution of marriage is the legal termination of the marital relationship. What is divorce law meaning? A divorce is the legal termination of a marriage by a court in a legal proceeding requiring a petition or complaint for divorce or dissolution in some states by one party. There are two types of divorce: fault and no fault. What is divorce law in India? Divorce obtained through mutual consent can be obtained within a minimum of 6 months. Section 13B of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 provides for divorce by mutual consent where the parties have been separated for a period of 1 year. Thereafter, the first motion for mutual divorce must be filed and presented. What type of law is divorce law? Divorce or dissolution of marriage is the legal termination of the marital relationship. The divorce process is handled by family law attorneys. Each estranged spouse retains his or her own counsel and involves a number of issues ranging from division of property to child custody. What is divorce in family law? Divorce means the dissolution of marriage by a competent court. It studies the different theories of divorce, fault, mutual consent, breakdown, and also describes the grounds of divorce under this act, with focus on adultery and cruelty and how these grounds were modified through amendments. What causes divorce? According to various studies, the three most common causes of divorce are conflict, arguing, irretrievable breakdown in the relationship, lack of commitment, infidelity, and lack of physical intimacy. The least common reasons are lack of shared interests and incompatibility between partners. Is divorce good or bad? While divorce is a painful and stressful process, divorce is neither good nor bad. Most people experience major losses during their divorce: loss of future dreams, loss of family life as they knew it, loss of the familiar, and financial loss. Can I divorce my wife? Yes, you can get divorce or judicial separation from your wife because of characterless. You can get divorce or judicial separation as per Hindu Marriage Act 1955 under section 13(1) on the basis of adultery and under section 13(1) IA on the basis of cruelty. When can husband file for divorce? Divorce by mutual consent can be obtained within 6 months, but no petition in such a case can be filed within first year of marriage. There also has to be gap of 6 months between the first and second motions. The court can waive this cooling off period in some cases. Can a wife file for divorce? The wife may, of course, file for divorce as a civil remedy. If, on the other hand, a wife commits adultery, she cannot be charged with a criminal offense, though the husband can seek prosecution of the adulterer male for adultery. What if wife denies to give divorce? Hi, there is no need to harm yourself. If she is not ready for mutual consent, divorce, and it's even not possible for you to continue anymore, then you can file a petition for divorce in the court and you will have to contest the same in the court. There are two ways of getting a divorce in the Hindu Marriage Act. How can I divorce my wife? Procedure to be followed for a mutual divorce. Step 1, petition to file for divorce. Step 2, appearing before court and inspection of the petition. Step 3, passing orders for a recording of statements on oath. Step 4, first motion is passed and a period of 6 months is given before the second motion. How husband can take divorce? The husband has a right to file a petition for divorce with or without mutual consent. For the latter, the grounds for filing remain the same as that for a wife. These include cruelty, desertion, conversion, adultery, disease, mental disorder, renunciation, and presumption of death. Can I divorce without my spouse? If you don't know where your spouse is and hence cannot serve a divorce summons on him or her in person, you may divorce through a process called substituted service. Can you get a divorce for no reason? A no fault divorce can be granted on grounds such as irretrievable breakdown of the marriage, irreconcilable differences, incompatibility, or after a period of separation, depending on the state. Several grounds for fault divorce include adultery, cruelty, abandonment, mental illness, and criminal conviction. How do I get a divorce if I have no money? Remain civil with your spouse. Use attorneys wisely. Contact legal aid and non-profit services. Hire a mediator. Do the paperwork yourself. Hire an online divorce provider. Work with a paralegal or legal document preparer. Use credit to pay for the divorce. What are the two types of divorce? There are two types of traditional divorce, no fault and fault. A no fault default divorce means that a spouse asks the court to end a marriage without blaming either spouse for the breakup. All 50 states allow couples to utilize the no fault divorce process, and several states only allow no fault divorce. What are the four types of divorce? The four types: litigated divorce, collaborative divorce, mediation, and do it yourself divorce. The most well known and traditional method of getting a divorce is referred to as the litigated divorce, notes forms. What are the most common signs of a divorce? They stop communicating, lack of respect, resentment or contempt, lack of physical intimacy. Other signs of divorce: who files for divorce first? By filing first, you are the plaintiff and she will be the defendant. At trial, if your divorce case goes that far, you would go first. In deciding when to file, you don't need to worry about a reason. Who files divorce more? Wives are the ones who most often file for divorce at 66% on an average. That figure has soared to nearly 75% in some years. What is the number one reason for divorce? The most commonly reported major contributors to divorce were lack of commitment, infidelity, and conflict or arguing. The most common final straw reasons were infidelity, domestic violence, and substance use. More participants blamed their partners than blamed themselves for the divorce. Is it better to stay married or divorce? While some divorces are necessary, many marriages can be repaired. It may be difficult to face the issues that you and your spouse are struggling with, but research suggests that couples who can manage to stay together usually end up happier down the road than couples who divorce. When should I divorce my wife? Avoiding your partner and walking on eggshells. They are no longer your partner. No trust or respect. You have tried. You are worried about what others will think. Staying together for the kids. Is divorce better than fighting? The widely accepted credo that a good divorce is better than a bad marriage may suit parents' needs but doesn't take into account the child's viewpoint, according to a new study. Who suffers the most in a divorce? Men are more than twice as likely to suffer from post divorce depressions than women. Anxiety and hypertension are common in men after divorce, which can result in substance abuse and, in the worst cases, suicide. 10 divorced men commit suicide in the US each day. What happens when you divorce? The judgment of divorce or order of dissolution ends the marriage and spells out the specifics about how the couple will allocate custodial responsibility and parenting time, child and spousal support, and how the couple will divide assets and debts. What if husband denies divorce? You can file the divorce petition on ground of cruelty. He cannot decide to give you the divorce or not. This will be decided by the court only, where you will file your divorce petition. If that does not work, try to convince for a divorce by mutual consent under S13B Hindu Marriage Act 1955. What are the top 5 reasons for divorce? Top 5 reasons for divorce. Adultery is the most common reason cited for divorce. Money and finances are hot buttons for couples. Communication issues have an effect on everything in a relationship from sex, money, family planning. Addiction of any kind is another common reason for divorce. Can a man get divorced without your spouse's signature? The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 provisions to obtain a decree of divorce without mutual consent. When one of the parties is not consenting to the divorce, one can file a petition in the family court. Such a divorce is known as contested divorce. The grounds for divorce without consent apply to both husband and wife. Different theories of divorce. Fault theory. Under this theory, marriage can be ended when one party to the marriage is responsible or liable for the offense under matrimonial offenses done against another spouse. Mutual consent, irretrievable breakdown, adultery, cruelty, desertion, conversion, insanity. Who pays for a divorce? The spouse who applies for the divorce is known as the petitioner, and the other person is the respondent. As they are the person applying for the divorce, the petitioner will from the outside be responsible for the cost of the divorce. So, on average, the petitioner's cost will be higher than the respondent's. Is one sided divorce possible? If the wife is not ready for mutual divorce, you can go for one sided divorce on cruelty basis. It will be filed under section 13 IA HMA. Also, it can be a reason that you are not having any communication with each other for past 1.5 year can be a reason for divorce. What to do and not to do? When your spouse wants a divorce and you don't overfocus on trying to read your spouse. After asking once whether or not your spouse is 100% certain of their decision, try not to overfocus on reading your spouse. Don't pressure or withdraw. People deal with anxiety and stress differently. Is divorce a 7-year separation? No. There is nothing in law for automatic divorce if husband and wife are not living together for 7 years. However, a petition for divorce on the ground of not living together for 7 years will succeed and divorce would be granted. You have to go for the proper divorce procedure through the family court of the area. Can we take divorce after 3 months of marriage? As per the latest guidelines of Supreme Court, if there is no chance of reconciliation and marriage has been irretrievably break down, then 6 months cooling period can be waived off. But as you have recently married, 1 year is a mandatory condition either for mutual or contested divorce. Can court force husbands to stay with wife? Under no law, the court can compel or force a husband to take back his wife. No court can force cohabitation between a couple. If in the mediation proceedings it is even suggested to the husband to take back his wife, he can refuse. What wife gets after divorce in India? Unless the court has legally declared a couple as divorced, the wife is considered to be the husband's legal spouse. As a result, till the time the divorce is officialized, the wife has the right to her husband's property, and so do their children. How do you play dirty in a divorce? Top dirtiest divorce tricks. Serving papers with the intent to embarrass. You are angry with your spouse and you want to humiliate him or her. Taking everything, canceling credit cards, clearing our your bank accounts, starving out the other spouse, refusing to cooperate, jeopardizing employment, meddling in an affair. These are the basic tricks. Why is divorce so expensive? What makes a divorce so expensive has a lot to do with conflict and disagreements. Frequent miscommunication doesn't help to lower costs either. If you can handle your case using an alternative method to litigation, you are likely to find yourself saving some money. Can you get a divorce without going to court? It is possible to get divorced without going to court as long as your partner agrees to the divorce and the reasons why. However, it is still possible that you will need to go to court to decide what happens to money, property, and children. How do I get a divorce with my husband? How to divorce your husband and get everything. Getting your fair share when divorcing a narcissist. The emotional manipulation is constant. Develop a level headed plan for your divorce. Build your divorce support team wisely. Adjust your ideas about getting everything, dealing with emotions during and after divorce. What is summary divorce? A summary divorce, also known as summary dissolution of marriage, may be a practical option for couples with minimal assets, no children, and no desire for spousal support as part of the final settlement. Both spouses give up their right to alimony. What is a quick divorce court? The easiest type of divorce, which takes the least amount of time, is called an uncontested divorce. This relatively fast divorce happens because all of the major issues have been agreed upon by you and your spouse. What are the terms of divorce? Dissolution, another word for divorce, which is the legal termination of a marriage relationship. Divorce, the legal termination of a marriage relationship. How do I know if I am divorced? Ask the court clerk's office for help. The counter clerk can look records up for you and confirm whether a divorce has been filed. If so, you can get copies of the documents for a small fee. How can I see if someone is divorced? Divorce records, like marriage records, are public. You can search for divorce records from the comfort of your own home, or you can visit the State's Department of Health and Vital Records. Although records are sometimes free, you might need to pay to use certain private or state services. Is divorce a mutual? Divorce is hardly mutual. When one partner approaches to other who is aware of the state of their marriage and asks them for a divorce, both might agree to the decision without fighting. This is known as mutual divorce. When getting a mutual divorce, there are some important tips to remember. How do you end a marriage? Three legal ways to end a marriage. Divorce. The most common or well known end to a marriage is a divorce, also known as dissolution of marriage. California is a no fault divorce state, which means that neither spouse has to prove that other has done anything wrong or provide legal reasons. Legal separation, annulment. How do you know your marriage is dying? Signs your marriage may be doomed. You feel lonely in your relationship. You are worried about your finances. Sex isn't even on your mind. You don't enjoy spending time with your partner. You don't fight anymore. You refuse to get help. You are overcompensating on social media. How do I know if my husband wants a divorce? Here are some common signs that your partner wants a divorce. Unable to resolve problems, emotional disengagement, lack of attention to the marriage. They care more about their appearance all of a sudden. Financial problems, no communication, being disrespectful, lying to your spouse. What is the first thing to do when separating? Separation is never easy. What you need to know to make the best of it. Know where you are going, know why you are going, get legal advice, decide what you want your partner to understand most about your living, talk to your kids, decide on the rules of engagement with your partner, line up support. How much are lawyer fees for divorce? Average fees for divorce lawyer, it's typical for new lawyers to charge $100 plus per hour and experienced attorneys to charge $300 per hour. You can expect to see outlier pricing that ranges from $30 to $500 per hour as well. Why do men leave? The answer often lies in boredom and opportunity. If a man is bored in his marriage or believes something is lacking sexually or emotionally, he may start looking for reasons to leave a relationship for someone new. Sometimes men run away when they fall in love, looking to rekindle the spark of singleness. What age do most divorces happen? The average age of people going through a divorce for the first time is 30 years old. According to a recent report, more than half or 60% of divorces involve spouses who are between the ages of 25 and 39. What are the benefits of divorced women? Below the top six benefits of being a divorced woman. Strength: a divorced woman often grows stronger and more courageous than her married friends. Compassion, creativity, self discipline, self direction, initiative. How painful is divorce? The pain of divorce is often unbearable. The experience can be so awful that you wonder whether it would have been easier to stay married or even to be dealing with some other horrific life event like death. The depth of pain is often surprising, particularly when you know you don't want to be married anymore. Is divorce a bad thing? While divorce is a painful and stressful process, divorce is neither good or bad. Most people experience major losses during their divorce: loss of future dreams, loss of family life as they knew it, loss of the familiar and financial loss. Who benefits divorce? Divorced spouses may be eligible to receive social security benefits based on their former spouse's earnings record. One rule changed for people born on January 2, 1954 or later. If their former spouse is deceased, divorced spouses may be eligible for survivor benefits which have their own set of rules. Why stay married if you are unhappy? We stay in unhappy marriages because of fear. Fear of change, fear of loss, fear of what their future will be like without your spouse. You should not be ashamed of being afraid. Fear is what keeps us from making really bad choices in our lives. What are disadvantages of divorce? Divorce reduces living standards. Divorce changes personal relationships. Divorce may strain your relationship with your church or sign of divorce hurts children. What to know before getting a divorce? Things all parents should know before getting divorced. It may not fix the problem you are trying to solve. Your kids may resent you. It's going to cost you a lot of money up front. You will likely have less disposable income post divorce. Your kids may not be as eager to spend time with you as you had hoped. What are the steps to leave my husband or wife? Gather documents and keep records, open a separate bank account and create your own budget, list property and other assets, plan the logistics of your exit, contact a divorce lawyer to tell your spouse or not, tell your children, leave. How do I accept my marriage is over? How to accept that marriage is over? When it's over, the partner not wanting the divorce may not understand why the other person is not willing to try to work it out. The road to recovery, embrace your new life, look outside yourself, practice letting go, look for joy, make a plan, be self aware. Will divorce ruin my child? No. Divorce does not always damage children. In many cases, mainly where there have been high levels of conflict between spouses, both adults and children are better off after the split, especially in the immediate aftermath. There are two main reasons why the breakup of parents can affect kids negatively. Why parents should not divorce? Divorce frequently contributes to depression, anxiety, and substance abuse in one or both parents and may bring about difficulties in balancing work and child rearing. These problems can impair a parent's ability to offer children stability and love when they are most in need. What's worse for kids fighting or divorce? While the latter might sound like the best solution, raising a child from divorced parents in a conflicted and unhappy environment can be just as damaging as divorce or even worse. Long term effects of parents fighting include an upsurge in aggression and hostility in kids. What do you call a divorced man? A divorcee is a woman who has divorced, and divorcee is a man who has divorced. The words come directly from French. which, unlike English, uses masculine and feminine forms for most nouns denoting people. What causes divorce? According to various studies, the three most common causes of divorce are conflict, arguing, irretrievable breakdown in the relationship, lack of commitment, infidelity, and lack of physical intimacy. The least common reasons are lack of shared interests and incompatibility between partners. What is the divorce rate in 2021? In the United States, about 50% of married couples divorce, the sixth highest divorce rate in the world. Subsequent marriages have an even higher divorce rate. 60% of second marriages end in divorce, and 73% of all third marriages end in divorce. What should I know before getting a divorce? Question to ask before getting a divorce: have you made clear your concern about the relationship? Do you and your spouse have shared expectations about the roles you play in the relationship? If there is a way to save the marriage, what would it be? Would you really be happier without your partner? Who suffers the most in a divorce? Men are more than twice as likely to suffer from post divorce depression than women. Anxiety and hypertension are common in men after divorce, which can result in substance abuse and, in the worst cases, suicide. 10 divorced men commit suicide in the US each day. Does divorce make you poor? Between 1967 and 1984, national longitudinal surveys data showed that approximately 44% of women fell into poverty after a divorce. Divorcing or separating mothers are 2.83 times more likely to be in poverty than those who remain married. Following a divorce, women are more likely to be impoverished than men. Are divorces expensive? California is one of the most expensive states for divorce for several reasons, and anyone expecting to divorce in the near future should consult with an experienced divorce attorney about what to expect from the process. How can I keep my divorce happy? Ways to find happiness after divorce: develop a strong support system, let go of animosity, remember why you got divorced, discover yourself, don't rush into a new relationship, take accountability for your happiness, take care of yourself financially, take care of yourself physically. What are the benefits of divorced women? Below the top benefits of being a divorced woman: strength. A divorced woman often grows stronger and more courageous than her married friends. Compassion, creativity, self discipline, self direction, initiative. What is a toxic marriage? A toxic marriage is a chronic condition characterized by ongoing unhealthy mental, physical, and emotional issues that are unresolved and fester into even bigger problems. Physical abuse, substance abuse, adultery, desertion, or other major transgressions are obvious signs that our marriage is in trouble. How do you know when it is the end of your relationship? Here, experts explain some of the signs that indicate it may be time to let go. Your needs are being met, you are seeking those needs from others, you are scared to ask for more from your partner, your friends and family don't support your relationship, you feel obligated to stay with your partner. Who benefits divorce? Divorced spouses may be eligible to receive social security benefits based on their former spouse's earnings record. One rule changed for people born on January to 1954 or later. If their former spouse is deceased, divorced spouses may be eligible for survivor benefits which have their own set of rules. How many years do most marriage last? The average length of marriage in the US is 8.2 years, while the national average marriage length is just over 8 years. Couples in New York typically have the longest lasting unions. The typical marriage in the Empire State lasts for 12.2 years, which is significantly higher than the national average. How do you let go of someone? How to let go of someone, because sometimes that what's best. How to let go of a relationship, decide whether the relationship is worth it, cut off contact, accept that you are only in control of your own actions, lean on friends and family, trust the process, prioritize self-care, reframe your definition of forgiveness. Who should child live with after divorce? Generally, in most states, both parents continue to have joint legal custody after divorce, meaning both parents have equal rights to make child rearing decisions. However, courts may award social legal custody to one parent under some rare circumstances. At what age is a child most affected by divorce? Elementary school age 6 to 12. This is arguably the toughest age for children to deal with the separation or divorce of their parents. That's because they are old enough to remember the good times from when you were a united family. What is a loveless marriage? A loveless marriage is a relationship where one or both partners do not feel in love. Instead of being romantic lovers, they often feel more like roommates or siblings. Being in a loveless marriage often breeds isolation, resentment, and hopelessness. What to do to stop parents fighting? It's important to remember that Parents are arguing or fighting, not the kids. So the best thing to do is to stay out of the argument and go somewhere else in the house to get away from the fighting or arguing. So go to your room, close the door, find something else to do until it's over. Why do parents stay together for the child? Offering them stability by staying together may give a child a chance to develop the emotional skills to deal with divorce better, but they will still have to deal. Finally, there is a possible bright side in the strategy of staying together for the child. Does parents arguing affect child? In most cases, arguments will have little or no negative effects for children. Infants, children, and adolescents can show signs of disrupted early brain development, sleep disbursement, anxiety, depression, conduct disorder, and other serious problems as a result of living with severe or chronic interparental conflict. What happens to last name after divorce? When your judge signs it, you will have your name changed right there. A court order restoring your maiden name after divorce has just the same use as any other name. Change court order when it comes to changing your name with social security, DMB, passport, even birth certificate if you want. How many marriages are sexless? And many likely do last a lifetime because couples fall into the trap of thinking that sexless marriages are normal. While they are common, estimates for the number of sexless marriages range from 10 to 20% of all marriages. If one or both partners are unhappy, that is never normal. Who files for divorce first? By filing first, you are the plaintiff and she will be the defendant. At trial, if your divorce case goes that far, you would go first. In deciding when to file, you don't need to worry about reason. Can a father take a child away from the mother? If you have sole physical custody, also known as the primary custodial parent, you can take your child away from the mother. However, if you do not have primary custody, it can be virtually impossible to take the child away from the mother. How do you know if your husband is not in love with you? Signs your husband isn't in love with you. Here is no longer affectionate with you. He spends a lot of time alone or out of the house. He doesn't really engage in conversation with you anymore. He's become closed off. He no longer goes out of this way to care for your relationship. Identify what's changed. Why would my ex wife keep my last name? Reasons women may want to keep their ex husband's last name: continuity with children. One of the most common reasons an ex may keep your last name is to keep her name the same as any children. Even though you are getting a divorce, your wife has likely spent the marriage building a brand for herself around the name. At what age do couples stop sleeping together? But it comes from the most comprehensive sex survey even done among 57 to 85 years olds in the United States. Sex and interest in it do fall off when people are in their 70s, but more than a quarter of those up to age 85 reported having sex in the previous year. How do I reconnect with my ex wife? From there, consider the following ways to reconcile after divorce. Initiate contact as much as possible, just as you did when you first met. Talk to your ex spouse as much as possible. Talk about the issues in the marriage. Move slowly and with caution. Learn new skills for a better relationship. Can a person remarry the same person after divorce? You can remarry the same person after divorce. It may take 15 days or 1 month after issuing the notice by registrar or marriage. After getting divorce decree from the competent court, if you want to remarry with the same person, you can remarry same person just after divorce. Can I marry my divorced wife? A Hindu couple can remarry only 90 days of the decree dissolving his or her marriage if no appeal has been made against the decree. As per recent reports, a Hindu couple, a man or a woman, will have to wait for 3 months, 90 days, after a divorce decree to marry someone else.